So here in brown we have the Earth meridian, and as you can see they're not an exact mirror image of the wood meridians in this case. So the first difference here is one of the wood meridians is going in front of the shoulder, the other is going behind, while both of the Earth meridians are going in front of the shoulder. So as you'll remember, there was a little bit of a shortage of water energy on the right hand side, which probably caused the meridian to move back a bit. Here also, if you look at the location of the fire meridians, you will note this is the center line, and this meridian is further to the right than this one is to the left. So this meridian basically has an area here which it is feeding, and because this apparently has given off, like it's taken care of this whole area, the other meridians can move more towards the back. This meridian has moved much more inside, so it is feeding a smaller area, which causes also this meridian to move towards the front to make sure that also this part of the belly receives enough energy. And if you're looking for weak spots in a person, you would typically want to look at areas where you find, gosh, there's not enough meridians close by. So in this case we have here kind of an empty area, because this one goes towards the back, this one stays here. So you could expect that this area around the appendix might not have sufficient energy, so there is a potential threat of appendicitis or something like this, because this is a relatively undernourished area when it comes to life force. Well, here we see that the distribution of life force is a lot more even. So if there is a problem with the intestines, it's more likely to happen over here than it is to happen on the left hand side. What we also see is that here the inward twist of the Earth meridian is actually quite shallow. It doesn't move in as much as this one does. And one of the things which can happen, not in this case, but as you can see, the fire meridian and the wood meridian are very close. And if the confidence is too low, then actually energies can jump over from these two meridians, because this could actually intersect with the fire meridian, and then these energies will blend. So the wood meridian is very much about aggression, about frustration, and this is about confidence in the world. And what happens a lot, if like there is insufficient confidence, the person will get very frustrated, will get very aggressive, may even start developing a criminal behavior, because they feel it is them against the world rather than the world is welcoming them or supporting them. So this is always something to look for, and often when people get into really big social problems, there will be a big mess in this area, but here it is actually okay, the energies are quite clear. You really feel that this is almost pure fire energy and this is almost pure wood energy. But if these areas get confused, it's a typical sign of that type of problems. A similar thing can happen here, but it's not anywhere close. And what happens if a person has very weak self-esteem, that the Earth meridian, which is very much about being able to say no, being able to select, knowing what is good for you and what is not, has no resistance, because they have zero self-value, so they accept that they're being used or abused or treated in a horrible way or taken advantage of. So then you would get also a blending of the earth energy with the fire energy, but here we find that the meridians are quite far apart, and even though there is some earth energy here, it is still mainly fire, and actually the earth meridian itself is quite pure. But he is more at risk of being abused by his environment than turning violent against his environment and becoming an abuser of his environment. Even though the meridians would indicate otherwise, the content of the energy overflow, is actually more here than on the other side, even though the meridians are further apart. So he's a very atypical person, because given the location of the meridians, I would have expected it to be the other way around, but it isn't. So it's always good not just to look at one sign, but always to double check what is going on. We were also discussing earlier the deficiency in the third chakra. That could also be a big explanation why this meridian is a lot more to the side of the body, while that one is a lot more to the front of the body. We also discussed that there is probably some damage to the underlying organ, which is also a reason for this meridian to have moved more inside. And probably if the chakra, which should be a circle, actually becomes a complete circle instead of a circle with a hole in it or a gap out of it, then this meridian should be able to move also if the area gets healed, so that it can move into that area. And this is a more normal or more healthy pattern, you could say. And this one should be a little bit more towards the front, rather than all the way towards the back the way it is now. So here we have a look again at the earth meridian as it is running here. And you'll remember that if you look at the back, also here these meridians are stronger on the left hand side, which also allows these meridians to move more towards the side and the front than they did on the right hand side. So here you see that it is a very gentle curve going here inward and very gently outward again. So it shows that there is no sign of stress on the pancreas or the stomach or the spleen. And often if a person is in a lot of stress, like they're fighting a disease or an infection, then also this will tighten a lot. Also if a person is hypersensitive, like their aura is picking up too much energies and they cannot deal with it, also this will become a very sharp point going also further inward to strengthen the third chakra. So this is a relatively healthy shape, so there's no signs of hypersensitivity here. What you can also see is that because both of them run to the front, that this area of the shoulder also becomes not as supported as much as on the right hand side. So this area where the meridians are relatively far apart is also an area which is more prone to damage or to injury. So the left shoulder and the appendix are possible problem areas.